Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to solve 10 interview questions. Create a function to reverse given string. We are going to create a method and then our return type has to be string and it will take one string parameter. Now I have to reverse this one. To do that, regularly our index starts from 0 to end, and if I'm able to get the numbers from end of the string to the beginning, then everything is fine. So I'll create one string and I'll call it reversed equals empty string, and then this is where I'm going to store my letters. I'm going to create a loop. In regularly, we start from the 0 and go to end, but in this case, since we are going to reverse, we are going to do exact opposite. We are going to start from the last index and we are going to go till the first index, which is 0. And every time I get the letter, I will store it inside this variable. I will say reversed plus equals, which means compound assignment operator. It will add the letter that is coming from the end of the string, and here I will return reverse, and as you can see, it reversed the string. Create a function to find count of letters from a given string. How I can find the count of letters, right? So I have to have a letter and the count. So I have the pair. If I am having a pair, it means I have to use map, right? I can store each letter would be character, and then I can store it as integer. It will take one string. I have to store letters, but letters should not repeat when I store it. And then counts can repeat, same or different, it really doesn't matter. So for that, the best thing to use is map as we did here. So I'm gonna create one map. I'm gonna store characters and integer. Next, I'm gonna create a loop to check each letter. Now, how do I store inside this counts? So I have two conditions. If this map contains the letter that I'm having, or if it doesn't. So I can say char letter equals str.char@I. This is the current letter I am looking for. And then I have to check if map has this letter. If this map doesn't contain the key, which is a letter, then this is the first time I encounter this letter. So I can say counts.put. Well, I'm gonna put this letter, and this is the first time I am encountering. And else if, right? What happens if the map contains the letter? Since this is the second or third or fourth time you are encountering, you have to increase existing count. Existing count of that letter, we can say counts.get and letter. Next, I have to put it inside the map again. And then now I have to increase the count of it. So I will say existing count plus 1. After the loop, I can return the counts map, and that's all I have to do. Let's create a function to find if a given number is prime. We have to check what is a prime number. Prime number can only be divided by itself and 1. So no other number should divide a given number. I will do it Boolean because we have to find if it's a prime or not. So yes or no, or true or false. I will take one integer number as a parameter. Our condition is this number should not be divisible by any number other than 1 or itself. Therefore, I have to check all possible dividers, and then if any one of them divides, I have to say this is not a prime. What is the possible divisors for this number? Anything other than 1 or itself, right? Then I can start from, let's say, divisor equals, I'm gonna start from 2. Okay, because the 1 already divides it and it's for prime number, I don't have to check. And where does this possible divisors end? The possible divisors end, d should be smaller or equals to number divided by 2. That's where the possible divisors end. How can I understand if this number divides it or not? I can say if number remainder d equals to 0, it means d divided this number. So I can return false, which means this number is not a prime. Outside, so I will check all of them. And if none of the conditions I returned false, I can go to outside of the loop and I can return true, which means this is a prime number. In this question, we are going to create a function to sort the array in ascending order without a sort method. Let's look at the example. Our given example array is 2, 4, 3, 1, and output should be 1, 2, 3, 4, goes smaller to bigger. And to do this one, what I should look at is, right? So this is my array. So 2, 4, 3, 1. So from starting from the beginning, I have to check this number with each number until I find a smaller one. So I check 2, the first element with the second element. Second element is not smaller, so I am good. I check with the other one. It's not smaller, so I'm good. I check with the last one, and then I see this is smaller than this one. So I swap them. So I put the 1 here and 2 at the end. And as you can see, 1 goes here, 2 goes at the end. And I do this circle till end of the array, right? So then I start with the second element, I do it till the end. Then I start with the third element, and then I do it till the end. Okay, and let's start doing this one with the coding. I'm gonna create a method, and return type should be again integer array. It's gonna take again integer array of numbers for so this is gonna start from beginning and it will go till the end of the array. But I have to compare this. So if you remember our picture, right? We have to start from beginning and go till the end. So for example, for nums I have to compare nums I with each element in the array. So to do that, I'm gonna create another loop. J is starting from the next element. So I can say this is going to be I plus 1. So then I can compare with the next elements. And I can say if numbers I bigger than numbers j, then I have to swap them. How do I swap it? I can say integer temporary equals numbers I equals numbers j. At the end, numbers j will take the temporary, which is the value of numbers I. After that, at the end, I can just return the numbers array. I have to return it outside of the loop after all it's done. Create a function to find second largest number in array. Let's create a method first. And since we are going to find the second largest, it's going to return integer. It's going to find it from the numbers array. First, I need a variable for highest element in array. And since in the beginning I don't know, I'm going to start it with the lowest value possible. In second one, I will create another value for second highest. And again, I will start with the lowest value in integer. So let's see how we are going to do it. Let's loop through the array, the number, and this number is going to come from the numbers array. I have two conditions. What happens if this current number is bigger than the highest? I have to change the highest, right? Highest should take the value of the number because number is bigger than the highest. Therefore, number should be the biggest. However, Before even I do this, since I am already going to change the value of the highest, I'm going to do this one. I'm going to say second highest equals to highest. Therefore, I am changing the value of the second highest as well. However, what happens if number is not bigger than the highest? However, if it is bigger than the second highest, then again, I should change the second highest value because there is a number that is not the biggest. However, it's bigger than the second highest that I have. Then second highest should change its value to number. Then at the end, I can return the second highest, and that should give me the value of the second highest element from the array. In this question, we are looking how to swap two numbers without using a third variable. In this question, we are really going to test our logic and understanding of reassignments in Java. So first, start with finding n2. I'm going to change the value of n2 with n2 plus n1. So number 2 equals to number 2 plus number 1. So in here, I can say n2 is sum of both numbers. Next, I'm going to find number 1. I'm going to swap the number 1. Since number 2 is number 2 plus number 1, here we can visualize it. Look, number 2 minus 1 translates to number 2 is currently number 2 plus number 1. And if you subtract the number 1, you will get only number 2. So n1 will be swapped. Next, I'm going to swap the n2 by saying n2 minus n1. How that works? N2 is actually n2 plus n1. And n1 took the value of the n2 from the beginning. So then if you do the math, so this goes with this, and then you have the n1. So therefore, n2 takes the value of n1, and we will see n2 will be 4, n1 will be 6, which is what we are looking for, swapping the numbers without using a third variable. N2 is 4, n1 is 6. Question, we are going to create a function to check if a list of integers contains only odd numbers in Java. And since I'm going to check if it is right or wrong, so I'm going to use Boolean as true or false. It will take list of integer. I have to go through each element, right? I can use for each loop, and I can say I'm going to get the integer number from nums list, and then we'll say if number remainder 2 is equals to 0, it means this is not an odd number, right? And I can just return false because this list has a even number. It's not an odd number because one number in a list gave me remainder 2 equals 0, which means it's an even number, so I have to return false. Otherwise, outside of the loop, if none of the number gives false here, I can return true. In this question, we have to create a function to remove duplicated letters from string without removing the spaces. For example, I am happy. We'll convert it to I space am space h. And since the a is already used, I can't. I need to remove the duplicated letter. And same for p and then y at the end. Or for example, in Techtorial Academy, we have to see second T is removed, space stayed the same, and then A, C, A is not used in the second part of the string since they are going to be duplicating themselves. Return type will be another string. We'll create a one string, str, so which will be our parameter is imagine I have another box here. I'm gonna put these letters, right? So I'm gonna put T, but what should I check? If this box doesn't contain T, then I will add. Does this box contains this T? No, I will add it. Contains E? No. C? No. H? No. T, it contains it, so I don't add it. O, does this contain O? No, I will add it. Does this contain I? No, I will add it. A, L, space, we are not going to look the conditions, etc. So this is what we are going to do. Let's create a new box. New box. So in the code, it would be a new string, right? I can call it without a duplicate equals empty box. So I will check each letter, right? For I, it should be smaller than string length. I will check it for each letter. So I can say string letter equals str.char add I, and then plus empty string. So that's how we can make string out of the given char. So this is my letter. So I'm gonna say if my box does not contain letter, then I will add this letter to my box without duplicate plus equals to letter. And that is fine. However, one more condition for me to do is what happens if this letter currently is a space? So if letter equals a space, then I have to do this one. I have to add it in my box because I don't have to check any condition if it's a letter. So if it's a space. And if it's a space, I'm straight adding into my new box. And then I will continue to my loop from the next iteration. I don't have to check this condition when the letter equals space. Okay, and after the for loop, I will return without the duplicates. Create a function to calculate factorial for given number. What is factorial, right? Factorial in mathematics, the product of all positive integers less than or equal to a given positive integer. Factorial 7 is written 7 factorial means multiplication of all the numbers from 1 through 7. And another thing we need to know is factorial 0 is defined as equal to 1. For this one, I'm going to use recursion to solve it. We are going to return integer value as a result of factorial. And I'm going to call this method factorial. And it is going to take one parameter as number. If this number equals 0, what should I return? Like, if this number equals 0, I should return 1. There is no question here because factorial 0 defined as equal to 1. However, in other conditions, what I should do? When the n is not equal to 0, I should return n multiplied by factorial n minus 1, right? Because if you look at this one, 6 factorial multiplied by 7 is 7 factorial. Therefore, I'm going to say n multiplied by factorial n minus 1, and it will keep calling this method till it finds the 0, and then it will come back again. Find how many words does the given string contain. For this, so if we have Techtorial Academy, it should return 2 since it does contain 2 words. Or if we have a Java is a coding language, then it should return 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, how do we find how many words does the given string contain? To find this one, what we can do is we can use a split method in string. and we can split it by the spaces. And when we do this one, it will use these spaces to split string and store them in a array. And this will be stored, this, and this, and then length of the array will give us the count of the words if we split it with the space. I have to return integer and find count of words from the given string. And I can say create an array, right? I have to create string array, and I can say words equals string dot split with the space and return words dot length, because length of the array will give us the count of the words from given string.